Welcome to Business Literacy Module 3, and we are going to look at spoken communication in this module. Okay, and part 1 is all about the introduction to spoken communication. Now, what is spoken communication? Whenever we say what is, we talk about the nature of something. So the nature of spoken communication, it is using your mouth, using word of mouth, and using language and speaking words. So you're going to use your mouth and you're going to use words. So the definition of language is therefore it is a system used for communication that uses symbols and rules, and these rules are called grammar. Nice working definition of spoken communication is then a transfer process involving language and the spoken word. Obviously, if it's communication, there must be this transfer, and it's telling us that this transfer has got two components to it, the language and the spoken word. The language is what we say using those rules of grammar, and then voice is all about how we say it. Let's have a look here at voice and language in general. When we are using our voice to communicate, you have a little graph there that tells you how the meaning of the words is transferred or conveyed. And we see that only 7% of the words are conveyed by, or only 7% of the meaning is conveyed by the actual words, while 38% is conveyed in the way it is said, and another 55% is conveyed by non-verbal clues. Now, if I were to say to you, I care deeply about you, and I say it in that way, my actual words said that I care. The way in which I said it really said I couldn't care less. Obviously, in this case, because we are busy with indirect communication, there was no verbal clues. Good language use will always be grammatically correct, so all the parts of speech will be in the correct place. You will say, John kicks a ball. You will not say, ball, John kick. Okay, that's not proper language use. So the words must be in the correct order. It must be clear and unambiguous. That simply means that it mustn't have more than one meaning. And then it must be suited to the audience. Why do we use language? Well, we use it to provide information, to express emotion, to influence others. That's really, think of politicians. That's why they use language, really to influence us, to get us to vote for them, to have contact with others. That is very important. It has been said that people who are deaf find it very difficult to build relationships because they can't speak. Okay, so, and then also to provide pleasure. And here we are talking about prose and poetry. That is why you read novels and why you listen to music. It's for pleasure. Okay, so music would also fit in here if it is a song with words, because it also has words, also has meaning. Now, let's have a look at ineffective spoken language. This is things that we are trying to avoid as far as possible when we speak. The first one is a cliche, which is just an overused expression. I've given you an example there. Don't judge a book by its cover. We will often say that, but we use it so much that it almost starts to lose its meaning. An abbreviation is a shortening of the word, like RSVP, ASAP, and ETA. In the place of ASAP, for instance, as soon as possible, and ETA, estimated time of arrival. Now, some people, when they type you a SMS message, you can barely understand because all of it is abbreviations, and some of it is abbreviations that really only exist in the minds of people that use it all the time. I will not answer you if you send me an SMS like that. I won't be able to understand what you are saying. Then we get jargon. Jargon is words used by people of a specific trade or profession. If two tech guys speak to each other and you are not technically inclined, you will have no idea what they are talking about. If two training professionals are speaking to each other and you are not in the HR field, you'll also find it difficult to understand what they are saying. Then we have slang, where the words take on another meaning and it also identify the users of that group. So there we have, how's it, my bra? Now, you do not expect your teachers to greet you like that, but a guy who wants to portray himself as being cool, he might speak like that. How's it? He's not appealing for catching cricket, and my bra, he is not referring to women's underwear. He's really asking, how are you doing, my brother of another mother? That's basically what the guy is saying to you. Then we have redundancy with the use of unnecessary words. The most common one that we always see is a dead body. A dead body was discovered. Well, if somebody is dead, he only leaves a body. So a body is dead by definition. So it would be more than enough to say a body was discovered. Then parrot speak is where people use over-rehearsed words, and you see that with telemarketers. And when they pitch their product to you, you can already hear that they have pitched it 1,000,000 times. Now, when you yourself are involved in sales, you must be very careful that you don't do that. You must, every time that you deliver your message, it must sound as if you are excited about it again and you're doing it afresh. Because if you sound like a recording, then it might as well be a recording. And when I get a phone call and it is a recording, I switch off immediately. Further ineffective spoken language examples, these buzzwords. Those are popular words that's just used without thinking. And often when we use buzzwords, we think that everybody understands what we're saying, but these buzzwords might have different meanings for different people. I think of going viral. A message went viral. What does it mean? Did it get 100 views or get 100,000 or 100 million views? What are you actually meaning with it? Marketing funnels. Now, I understand funnels, I understand marketing. You can't just tell me that I must use marketing funnels, because they will look different depending on the different platforms that I'm using. Then we get discriminatory language, where the language used is prejudiced or biased towards a certain group. So, for instance, saying old people are bad drivers, that might be my perception, but it is not necessarily true, and it is highly insulting to all old people. Manipulative language is when the speaker is trying to control others with what they say and how they say it. So, mother asks the child, "Are you really going to eat that?" What she's really saying to him is, "I don't think you should be eating that. You had enough." Or, "That is not proper food. I hope you're not going to put that in your mouth," even though the question says, "Are you really going to eat that?" Then we have language to make you fearful, language to warn or change behavior. Now, that can be good. I mean, if somebody is about to step off a cliff, it would be a good idea to say, "Stop, danger," and then the guy will hopefully not step over the cliff. But if I want to discourage you from doing something, and I use language that makes something that is mundane sound very dangerous, then of course it's a different story. And we get small talk or arbitrary chatter, which is just random chit chat, and that is where people talk about the weather, nice weather we're having. Well, what you're really saying is I don't have anything to talk about, but hey, let's talk about the weather. At least it looks as if I'm making an attempt to converse with you. So that's the first part of spoken communication, is language, we said. And then the second part is the voice. So there are many aspects of voice that we need to be aware of and that we need to master if we are going to be good speakers. So let's have a look at the first one, which is pitch. Pitch is all about how high or how low we speak. It's a treble or the bass. So I could speak like that. No, I think that's a little low. And I can speak like that, and that's just going to irritate you. And so the idea really is that when it comes to pitch, we are supposed to avoid the extremes. So then volume simply refers to how loud or softly one is speaking, and you have to adjust that for the room size. Very problematic now with load shedding, because you might be speaking to an audience as loud as you can because there's no power with a lapel mic. Next moment the power goes on and you blow the speaker. So we have to adjust our volume according to the room size, but also according to the technology available to us. Then there is the tone, and the tone is really that part of our voice that reflects attitude and show happy, sad, angry, or caring. And I can say to you, I'm very happy today. And then my tone reflects the word that I'm saying. But if I say, I'm so happy today, I'm basically crying. I'm clearly not happy. And then my tone will indicate to you that what I'm saying is not really how I'm feeling. Then, of course, the rate or the tempo refers to how quickly or slowly we speak, and that must be varied. If you speak at one pace and rhythm all the time, your audience is going to fall asleep. And therefore, you must vary the pace and the rhythm all the time. And then they won't fall asleep. Breath control. The idea is really that you don't run out of breath. So therefore, you must keep it normal. And if you are nervous, then just breathe deeply. It's very unlikely that you will run out of breath if you are simply speaking to people that you know well. But when you are busy doing a presentation, you might be focusing on the presentation so much, or focusing on the audience so much, that you actually run out of breath. And you want to gasp for air, and we don't want that. Articulation is all about how clearly you speak. So say it once, say it clearly, and use your lips. Okay, don't speak like that. See, now I'm not using my lips, and then you can't understand a word that I'm saying. Projection is what we do to get our audience to hear us if they are a little far away. And really, the idea is almost that you throw your voice out there, but please do not shout. Projection is not shouting. You are simply speaking a little bit louder, clearer. You are possibly lifting your head a bit so that you can open your diaphragm and that you can project further. Then there is pronunciation. That is the way we say the words. So it is important to sound the vowels correctly. Now, in a country like South Africa, English for 95% of us is not our first language. And so there is pronunciation differences. But please, if you do know the correct pronunciation of the word, use it, and use it properly so that people will understand what you are saying. And then please relax when you are speaking. Relaxation indicates calm, and it will also show that you are assertive. You can stand your ground. You're not passive. People are not just going to convince you to buy their product. You are not aggressive. You're not going to kill the guy because he's trying to sell you something. But you are assertive. You will look at the facts before you make a decision. Then the last part of this section is really when we differentiate between direct speech and indirect speech. Now, direct speech is where we are meeting face to face. I can see you, I'm looking you in the eye. We are in the same location. It is one person addressing another person, or a small group, even a large group, but you can see the people. It can be formal or informal, and it can be one way or two way with feedback. If you're going to listen to a speaker somewhere, he's really speaking, you are listening, and there's not much feedback. And it includes non-verbal gestures. The politician can clench his fist and move it into the air, punch the air, and try to get you excited about the issue as well. The advantage of direct speech is that you can use body language. So you can add to that communication. The feedback is immediate. You can just ask the person, do you understand me? Or they might spontaneously respond to you. It can be spontaneous, face to face. You can make a joke. The person will look at your face. He will know that you are not serious and that you are only joking. It is quick. You're not going to set up a meeting with somebody via Teams if you can quickly speak to them in the hallway. And it is ideal for expressing emotion, for persuading people, or to negotiate. If you want a salary increase, you are most likely going to ask for a meeting with your superior. You're going to walk in, you're going to sit down, you're going to speak to the person rather than trying to negotiate over the telephone or over a Teams meeting, for instance. And it is great for relationship building. Okay, that proximity, remember the proximity that we talked about in module 1. You are allowing the person into your personal zone, and that is how you build relationships. If we are communicating via social media or via Teams or even via the telephone, I cannot really allow you into my space. Indirect speech, that requires a meeting device. Like in this case, I need my laptop, I need the correct programs. With load shedding, I need a little uninterrupted power supply. And if I don't have all of that in place and I don't know how to use it, then we cannot meet. So you will use a phone, a conference call, a PA system, TV, whatever. There is no eye contact between the speaker, the sender, and the receiver. I'm not seeing you while I'm speaking. And even if I had my video on, you would see me, but I'd only be looking at the camera. There's no way that I can really make eye contact with you. Like direct speech, it can be one way or two way. We can have successful meetings remotely, and you can speak back to me. And if you were to listen to this lecture and it was live, you would be able to speak to me. Okay. It can therefore also be with or without feedback. And one of the nice things is that it's fast and convenient. I don't have to go to your workplace or wait for you until you are available. We can simply schedule a Teams meeting, and then when we meet, we can we can do it immediately. And there are, of course, fantastic tools these days. There's Zoom, there's Teams. Some people still use Skype. You can have WhatsApp calls, Windows Messenger. There are so many fantastic tools these days that we can use. The advantages of indirect speech is, I've already indicated that it saves time and money. It is convenient. You can communicate with anybody all over the world. The disadvantages is that it is dependent and strongly dependent on technology. You have to be more careful about what you say, because it's not like the person can see you wink when you are making a joke. And of course, no hand gestures is possible to add further value to the communication and to enhance it. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. That will then be the end of the session, and I am looking forward to speaking to you again. Let me just get out of here.